If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. Today is November the 15th, 2021, and the topic is an expected end. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Well, first, let me apologize because on Saturday, I did not record. I did not go live, so my apologies. It was very interesting when I posted the No Juice Today post. I was surprised to get any response, let alone the response I did get. So I saw you guys' care faces and wow faces and everything like that. And, I even got an inbox of concern and, another message of encouragement. So, yeah, man, I didn't expect that. So, thank you all for taking out the time to acknowledge, that I didn't go live and that I didn't record. And I appreciate it. I appreciate, I guess, being seen and heard, Nothing happened. Nothing was wrong per se. Technically, I was going to just go ahead and just like put the blame on hubby. But what had happened was little man had went to his nana's Friday night after the celebration of life from my aunt. And so, long story short, like by the time I did get home, hubby and I was just talking and all this stuff, whatever. And so, long story short, I didn't work out that night or anything. I guess, QT with hubby, you know what I'm saying? I put it that way. I know that makes it sound a certain way. But regardless, yeah. I didn't wake up on time Saturday. Like, by the time I woke up, it was like 7. And obviously way past juice time. So that's what happened. It wasn't anything wrong or anything. But I appreciate you all, again, acknowledging. And, I appreciate the communication and the support and everything like that. Because, again, a lot of times you do things and you don't know if it has any effect or, if people are listening or whatever the case is. And so, I guess, again, that was another little confirmation for me, so I appreciate that. And so, yeah, that's what had happened. But, hey, I'm here. It's Monday morning. I'm here to give you the juice. And I have every intention to get back on the workout routine and everything like that, seeing as how today is Monday. But, anywho, let's get into this topic for today. So, long story short, after my prayer meditation this morning, like one of the first thoughts that came into my mind was God knowing the end before the beginning. And, God knowing the end before the beginning. And, this whole idea of an expected end. And, I think I may have spoken about this in the past or studied this in the past to then share here on the Juice. But obviously, again, the more that you get into the Word of God, the more that you'll be able to, I guess, get an understanding or maybe even a different perspective of different things. And so for me this morning, as I was thinking about this topic, I guess I was reminded, like, sometimes we forget that God is in control. Like, sometimes we forget that, hey, this is all going according to God's plan. And so we get concerned about, like, whatever our current situation is. We get concerned about the way things look, and we're like, wow, what's going on, Lord? I'm confused. Like, for example, for the longest time, even now, still sometimes, I'm like, Lord, you giving me this vision about this and that, but my current situation is this or that, and so what can I do, and what do you want me to do right here, right now? Ultimately, obviously the word has a lot to say about what we should do. And one of those things is to stay in the here and now, right? Not worry about the future, not worry about any of that, but stay in the present and do His will right here, right now, in the present, right? So, I guess that's one of the things I was reflecting on this morning. And then as I was writing down verses, I kind of saw a little something else. but yeah, that's basically how I got to the topic today. And so let's go. Let's get into it. Here we go. Isaiah 46:10. It says, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times things not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will accomplish all my purpose. So again, if you are in that place and you're like, man, Lord, especially if you're a visionary, if you're in this place and you're like, hey, you made me a promise, Lord, and here I am in the total opposite situation, right? I'm in the opposite place, if that's you. We have to go back to God's word and realize that, hey, He hasn't made a promise that He doesn't keep. Now, not getting into things that got changed, right? Because sometimes things, depending on what we do, can change. Y'all know that whole account with Jonah and whatnot is the perfect example of that. That nation had a prophecy of, how can I say, like it was basically a terrible prophecy upon them, but the whole nation repented, and God changed, their outcome based on what they did. And so I guess that's one of those things about the choices that we make and staying in the present and everything like that. All of those things have power. Yeah, God knows what you're going to do. But again, that doesn't change the fact that you got the choice to do whatever it is that you want to go on and do. So again, there's just something to think about there. And anything like that. Shout out to the one person that is watching me live. Let me keep going. So 1 John 3:20, it says, for wherever our heart condemns us, God is greater than our heart, and He knows everything. Yeah, sometimes we condemn ourselves, right? Sometimes we get in our own way. Man, I saw this really good quote yesterday. Unfortunately, I didn't write it down because I didn't think about it at the time, but it was saying something along the lines of, man, I wish I had it. Basically, like, don't you be the stumbling block in your way, or something like that, or or don't you be the weapon. Man, I wish I had it. My apologies. I shared it on our page or whatnot, but basically it's like, don't you be the one to get in your own way. Something along those lines. Much better than what I said it. But yeah, man, sometimes we get in our own way, right? I say, now, once you get into the word, you'll see where that condemnation and all of that stuff come from. A lot of times we think it comes from God, right? We think that, oh, God hates me, or God is mad at me, or something like that. And that's not the case. I think the more that we get into the word, the more you'll see like who the accuser is versus who the one is that's like, hey, come to me, draw near to me, I love you. Like, I don't, Jesus said Himself, I didn't come to condemn the world, but to save the world, everything like that. Now, does that change what the outcome is going to be, right? Because there's this huge account of the outcome of what certain choices lead to. I don't think that changes that, right? I think that's why it was written. I think that's why it's been told to us the end before the beginning. So then you know, and you're making a conscious decision of what you want to do. But again, sometimes it's interesting that we tend to think that, again, God is mad or God is just this. Yes, he's going to judge. It says it, right? He's going to judge us, right? Based on what we did and the choices we make and all that. However, so knowing that, like, well, then what are you going to do with it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know that information, now what are you going to do? I mean, that's the real question. Because I just find it interesting that, again, we make choices and that we know in advance have consequences. But then when the consequences happen, then we're like, oh, yeah, you know, it's like, wait, like, oh, like, it's just very interesting. That's all. I'm just making observations. And this can go for a whole lot of different things. The interesting thing is this morning I came across this post. It was in the Let's Be Clear group, and they were talking about, I guess, this artist and his baby mom. Like, I wasn't too hip to their information and their plight, so I did try to look up some more post about it so I can get a better understanding of what's going on without just making a rash judgment or whatever based on just the first thing that I saw. And regardless of whatever they got going on, to me, it's just like another one of those things where a lot of times we can learn from other people's mistakes. My mom told me that so many times growing up. She said that she did it and everything like that. And it's like, yeah, man, like you could see what choices people make, and then you can make the conscious decision to make a different choice. I mean, again, I'm a living witness that I've done this in my life repeatedly. I'm not perfect now. I'm not perfect. There's some things that I did have to learn for myself and go through for myself and whatnot. I guess to make me who I am today and everything like that. But there's some things that I didn't have to necessarily go through. There's things that I observed, and consequences that I observed others deal with that I was like, okay, this is not a route I want to go. That's not necessarily something I want to do. So again, with knowing what's in the Word and knowing what the options, right? Knowing those options and knowing the end before the beginning, we can make, again, that decision being well informed. However, again, that's the interesting thing, because we're well informed, but at the same time we'll act like, oh, we're not. Like, we'll act like we're surprised about the outcome when the outcome was already like, I mean, you can see the outcome happening in people's lives. You can see the outcome that it was written in the Word, like, and all that. So I mean, I guess that's why I often say, like, hey, perhaps we should take more responsibility for our actions. We should hold ourselves accountable and just be aware, like, at least, and again, this is just me, this is not Bible. Like, obviously, you should probably do things God's way and do it according to the Word. However, my whole thing is, and this is just me, little side note, like, I just really believe that if you're going to choose to do the opposite, then hey, don't be confused, man. Like, just don't, live that, as people say, live your truth, or whatever the case is. Like, that's what, like, just be honest with yourself. Just be honest. Like, okay, hey, I'm aware and I'm making this decision, and then don't be confused. Like, don't be surprised. Like, you already know. When you know, then you already know. So, yeah, just one of those things to think about, y'all. Just one of those things. Let me see. Matthew 24:21 through 22. It says, "For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been from the beginning of the world until now. No, and never will be. And if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. So why is God taking his time? Why is he doing all that? Like, when is he gonna fix all this? Why is it happening so slow? Like, they been talking about that the end of the world is for years. You know what I'm saying? You hear all of that. You hear all of that constantly. But again, this verse right here is one of those verses that's telling us why. Like, at the end of the day, again, God, this choice is being set before all of us. And we all have the ability to receive the gift that God has given us. And why, right? Why is he letting us know this stuff in advance? Like, why is things taking so long, or whatever the case is? Well, for you, friend. For me and for you. Like I said the other day, I believe that it took me a while to get through, look, my cultivation period, right? It took me a while to get to where I am now. And so I guess thank God that the end didn't happen when some believed that it would, or whatever the case is. Like, thank God that, God is taking his time, as you always say, in this capacity, because, it allowed me to, go through, my life and get an understanding to now, make a decision to be like, all right, well, Lord, I want to do things your way then. I want to, try my best to get into your word, see what your word's got to say, go forth and do what it says to do, and all those different things. And it took me a while to get there, and I was raised in church, right? I was raised by an evangelist. I was, but I had to build my own relationship for myself, right? I can't live off my mom in that aspect. I have to, build a relationship with God for myself. And so, just like with my humble testimony, right? It takes some people longer than others, right? Some people can live and just go forth and like receive the gift and receive all of everything and be like, oh, okay, Lord, I understand. I'm going to live my life, devote my entire life to you, X, Y, and Z. Some fall, get back up, fall, get back up. I don't know which one you are, friend. But at the end of the day, I guess I would hope that anyone listening to the sound of my voice, if you're not there, that you will be inclined to get closer to God, be inclined to, get into the Word, see what it has to say, and start your own relationship with God so he can start to do the things that he has for you to do. Live out his perfect plan for you and your life, and you just you never know. Like I tell you guys all the time with my situation, like, again, yeah, I thought about marriage, yeah, I thought about all these things that I have right now, but to really be in the midst of it, knowing the choices that I made over the years, over the past few years, it's like, wow, like literally someone's life was waiting on me. Like, when I look at my son, I'm like, wow, his life, I don't know, y'all. I'm just telling y'all, that's the miracle of life. That's the miracle of birth. That's the miracle of, this process that we're in. And so, I'm telling y'all, man, a couple of choices, y'all. And that's the crazy thing. A couple of choices, a whole person would not even be here right now. And that, for me, blows my mind all the time to think about. And so, yeah, and who knows what he's going to go forth and do, because he's into so many things, man. Like, he's smart already, like, so I don't know. But hey, man, I'm going to keep going. I think I got one more verse here. Let me see, or did I say it already? Okay, yeah, I said that one already. So there's a few verses in the Go Deeper section to take a look at for today. And yeah, I hope that you all let them marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. Again, understanding that, hey, God knows the end before the beginning. He told us the end before the beginning. What are we going to do with that information? Knowing that at the end of the day, hey, we can trust Him. We don't have to worry. We don't have to fret. We don't have to, get anxious, right, about anything. Knowing that at the end of the day, God is in control. And also remembering that, hey, at the end of the day, when things are taking its time or whatnot, perhaps there's something that you need to do, right? There's something that you need to do on your end to get closer to God. Like, make sure you good. Like, make sure you and your family, is out here living a godly life or whatever the case is. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to matter. Like, we're going to have to stand for ourselves, right? We're going to have to, whatever choice that we make for ourselves is what's going to matter in the end. At the end of the day, the relationship with Jesus is what's going to matter at the end. And not any of this other stuff, to be honest. Not any of this other stuff. Yeah, I have goals, I have dreams, I would love to just be able to just live and not worry about, this or that or finances or any of that stuff. Yeah, I just want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. It's not that I want to be rich. It's not that I want to be like, living in a mansion or something. Like, I think, again, but that's growth, right? That's growth to learn to be content and everything like that. I know it is for me. So, I just think we got to get a better perspective of all of this. And as we do that, then we'll see the miracles of life. We'll see, those things that God is doing. Maybe we'll get a better understanding of some of the things God is doing and the timing and all of that stuff. But until then, just understand that, hey, God is in control. And that's the juice for today. But the Bible verse of today is Isaiah 6:8. It says, also, I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us? Then said I, here I am, send me. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Hello, charmers. Visit ttcboutique.com for the latest in fashion and accessories. Twice the charm, the source of women clothing.